So the WNBPA meeting was today, and I'm going to be honest here. From what we've heard, which is nothing, a lot of people are taking that as a negative. Based on everything with the PA, I'm guessing big positive. Nothing is going to be signed today. Why? Because half of them weren't there. But this is a PA who have made sure to let it be known if something's bad. If nothing else, if they haven't signed anything, I wouldn't be surprised if they have, if they've come to, my guess is that they have come to a best case scenario and they're like, okay, we're putting this, we're discussing this now. That it's whatever came out of this meeting is probably like a best case scenario. Maybe the players can maybe be like, okay, yeah, we'll sit together and maybe we'll ask for one more thing. But there's no way they didn't come out of this meeting. Like, if they came out of this meeting and it was done and there was going to be a strike, with the way WNBPA wanted to do it, we would have announced, it would be announced. The strike would already be announced right now. They would do it publicly. Let's be real. They would do it publicly. And it says here they declined to comment on the way out. And that sounds a bit worse than they were asked about what happened at the meeting, and the actual response is, I can't comment about that. Which is a lot different than no comment. I can't comment about that and no comment are two very different things, by the way. One sounds a lot more positive. The other sounds like it's negative. And Kelsey Plum and Fee Collier, this is a weird one with them not being there, because if you guys don't know, they literally posted that they were there, that they were on the plane. Like, they were on the plane to New York. Like, I don't get it. You were on the plane. How do you not make it? You were on the plane. This was 20 hours ago. You were on the plane. Like, I'm sorry. The meeting was, I think it was at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. New York time, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, they met in New York 3 hours today at 8 p.m. Yeah, it was at about 12. It was at about 12 New York time. So to get there from Miami is what? A couple of hours flight? There is 1,000,000% they could have gotten an early flight from Miami to New York and made it there. Like, I'm not joking when I say this. I could have got there. If I decided when I saw this picture, if I decided to go show up to New York, I could have made it. I live in Ireland. But, yeah, it's a interesting one. Constructive, helpful, head in the right direction is always home for it. They're not going to say that. They're not going to say that. This doesn't seem encouraging. I think it does. I think it genuinely does. Someone says people still believe league stars will not cross the line. I think they would. Ironically, I think they know that, not that they don't have the player support. I think they have the player support because everyone's like, oh, in the NBA, some players would have wanted to, cross the picket line. But it's like, let's be real. The players' union didn't want the bubble to happen. They didn't want the bubble to happen. LeBron, the big names didn't want the bubble to happen because they were fine. They were talked into doing the bubble because some players were like, Udonis Haslem basically pulled LeBron aside and was like, shut the fuck up. There are players here that need this money. They wanted to walk out of the bubble. Like, it is what it is. And on this side, it's like, it's a lot more is at stake because it's the difference again between hundreds of people having a career and not having a career in basketball. So we're now at the stage where it is what it is. The more two sides are engaged in negotiations, the quieter they'll get. The no comment from the PA should be a good sign. I said they didn't call it a slap in the face or put an inflatable rat outside. If I send it to you, it means I will not make it. I still don't know how they didn't make it. Because I looked up, by the way. There were no cancelled flights from Miami to New York last night. I could be wrong. I'm not the greatest. I looked at the departures from Miami, or say the arrivals from New York last night, and any of the flights to Miami made it. So I don't know. There's no guarantee that they flew from Miami. I don't know the airports, but every flight made it. So Fee is about to expand her league. Oh, I don't think people understand how bad the viewership is for Unrivaled. Like, it's so bad that the viewership is now not applicable. There is now a less than sign in the viewership because you can only tell the viewership for the top 100 programs, and it's not even top 100. So there's actually no ratings for Unrivaled. There's less than for Unrivaled ratings now. It's getting bad. Like, it is, like, it's so much worse than it was last year. But yeah, decline to comment. I do feel like it's a good thing. He said this was a meeting I don't think Fee and Plum were really invited to. No, they were absolutely were. They made their flight, but the flight didn't make the meeting. The flight, like, again, if I had decided to show up to New York, I could have made that meeting, and I was in Ireland from the time they were on the plane. It is what it is. I have no idea. They trying to save the league season, called it good after 3 hours. Look, I'm going to be honest here. I think it's a good sign. Staying there for 10 hours is irrelevant. 3 hours, both sides can get what? Both sides can talk. They can come to a point where it's like, okay, where one side or the other gives where one side or the other gives a final offer. And my guess is that the ball is going to be in the players' court. My guess is that the league gave a final offer to the players, and the players can negotiate off that. Will the players be able to negotiate something? Sure, off that. But I do think we're now at the stage where it's real, where in the next 10 days we will find out whether or not there's going to be a season, or whether or not the WNBA is no longer going to exist. Because let's be real, there is a much higher likelihood. Like, if there's no season, there is I would say a 90% chance the WNBA folds. Like, as a league, it folds. Everyone involved in it is going to cut their losses. They're just gonna. There's going to be some there's going to be some creative accounting that, with the league folding, they're able to use it as some sort of tax, like even some tax write-off. They're able to do something with creative accounting that it won't be that big of a loss for them. Because let's be real, the league folding and these teams owning those training facilities, if you guys don't know, there's no way that the Indiana city aren't putting a lot of money towards that. The Chicago Sky are only paying for half of their facility. So these teams now these owners now own these facilities that were subsidized by the state, that they can now rent out and do other things in. So they're not going to lose their money long term. They might just cut their losses. I think when it comes down to it, the NBA will be happy. The NBA owners will be happy to cut their loss. They would rather cut their losses now than sign a bad deal for them and eat sustainable losses for the remainder of its existence. But yeah, the meeting, I by the sounds of it went okay. But my guess is that it's like, this is it. There's not going to be any more back and forths. We will find out one way or another. This is probably both sides meeting and getting to their last point.